ego of most metal fans and musicians is both huge and fragile.
And that's why we're on episode 482 of SMG Viewers Comments. To you, the viewers, I say thank you so much. Can somebody explain that to me? But that's perfectly fine. Just to be clear, you guys are okay with that. So it should be Friday the 8th by this time this episode goes live. It's actually like Wednesday night the 6th at about 8 p.m. I'm shooting this. Got my after dinner coffee, just getting ramped up to get going here. We've got a very special episode. We're dedicating most of this to the responses I got on that fake drumming video. Ooh, got some interesting opinions, that's for sure. And buckle your seatbelts. This one's gonna get bumpy. Anyway, let's cut the bullshit and get right to it.
Quickly, everyone thinks you're missing the point. Cute.
You don't say.
I think you missed the point. No one is faking triggering. It's pretty obvious this genre. You have to trigger, kick, and steer. The faking of the videos is people claiming they're live recorded, unedited takes when they are not.
Yeah, I get that. Believe me, I understand that. That part's pretty obvious. Everyone's upset. Oh, he put an extra note in there. He put an extra note. That's how modern metal is done. Nobody's being honest anymore because even if you get a flawless performance like that, it's all samples of somebody else playing drums. But you guys are perfectly fine with that. You're fine with the drums being phony, but up to a certain point, and then it's crossing a line. Oh, fucking please.
Post-production, not triggering. That's the issue, Glenn.
Yeah, I get that. The problem is you're missing the point. The music has devolved to the point where it's now a contest to who can play the samples the fastest, not who can play the drums fast and still have them sound good without a crutch. Hey guys, just breaking in here for a second to ask, please, for a favor. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Over 600,000 people watched the show last month and did not hit the subscribe button. I mean, like, seriously, all you guys got to do is press the button. It doesn't cost anything to do it, and it would go so far in helping me achieve my goals. I need to get to 1 million subscribers, and I need your help to do it, and I'm giving away my Mesa Dual Rectifier that I bought way back in 2000, and if you're a black metal fan, that thing wound up on the first 2 Woods of Ypres records. It's a really cool amp. It's really something that's actually, got some sentimental value to me, and I'd be more than happy to give it away, but in order for that to happen, I need you to help me make it happen. So do me a favor, hit the freaking button. All right, back to the show.
If only this channel offered useful info instead of rants and hot takes.
Well, hey there, Mr. Burns. Tell you what, buckle your seatbelts. I got a couple of recommendations for you. Please see 2 of my videos. Why your guitars sound like shit in a mix, as well as why your snare sounds like shit in a mix. Both of them have excellent advice on how to dial things in the context of a mix, as opposed to just how it sounds in your living room at your sister's birthday party. Definitely something you don't want to miss. You can type that into the little search bar there. It'll come up. I know that might take a little bit of effort, but trust me, it will be worth it because you will learn something of value. Speaking of value, I just put a video out on Tuesday about the worst recording advice I've ever received. And I gotta say, the feedback I got on that is absolutely phenomenal. If you haven't checked it out already, please do. You might just learn something. But I get it. It's far easier to type a complaint into the comment section than it is to type something into a search bar. Can somebody explain that to me? There, I just don't get that. Okay, sorry to get off topic, guys. Let's get back to the complaining about the drum video.
These recordings all sound like a typewriting contest.
Well, it's a good thing they were all using kick samples, otherwise it would sound like a wet fart contest.
The issue wasn't sampling, it was the line claiming the playthrough video is unedited and raw, then defending as once the lie is caught and called up. Personally, it seems like a non-issue. I'm with you, I don't love this race to be the fastest. Lombardo all the way.
And what I'm saying, and I need to put this clearly here because so many of you guys just don't get it, is that sampling is lying. The drums don't fucking sound like that. I said this right at the beginning of the video and this went over so many people's head. Let me say it one more time with a little bit more explanation. It's a dick measuring contest of epic proportions, and because everybody's using samples, that means they're all using strap-ons. Well, hello there, neighbor. Are you having trouble getting your bass to sound just right in your mix? Well, gosh darn it, we've all been there, haven't we? But guess what? Element Bass is here to help. It's the ultimate bass amp sim because it just works. You'll get such rich, deep bass, your whole mix will feel like a warm hug. And don't worry about your bass player's amp. Element Bass is way better, but let's keep that our little secret, okay? So why not treat yourself to something nice? Because gosh darn it, your music deserves it. And in a week full of butthurt comments, this one kind of takes the cake. Here's the butthurt of the week.
This is what happens when when a boomer tries to get on the trends with youngsters. Glenn didn't cover one of the drummers at the center of this controversy and only ripped on the guys who are legit. Barely glossed over Mulaney, probably afraid of his lawyers. Completely missed the mark of this. Disappointing, to be honest.
Well, I don't know. I've been saying on this show for 10 years now that samples are bullshit, and you guys are still denying it. Oh, here's somebody who actually freaking gets it, though.
Yeah, it sounds like a bunch of samples to me.
Finally, somebody's fucking honest.
Sample augmentation expected and par for the course for this type of music. No issues there.
Want to make a bet?
Only problem is they didn't actually play every beat you hear and I'm passing it off as though they did.
Yes, and when they're using sampled kicks, they're passing it off that the drum that they're hitting actually sounds like that when it doesn't. But that's perfectly fine. Just to be clear, you guys are okay with that.
Hey, you want to go listen to that ridiculously fast metal song? No, I like that other one. It was ridiculously fast but sounds the same. That one's better.
Well, that pretty much explains the whole genre of technical death metal.
When a drummer quantizes and uses triggers, just get sequenced drums. Saves money on a drummer.
And I would agree. You know, I was on a car ride there a couple years back with a couple of buddies of mine, and they were having some major issues with the drummer. And I'm just like, why are you guys even fucking bothering? Just get rid of them and fucking throw samples on your album, because guess what? You're just going to do that anyway. You're going to record the drummer and they're just going to completely replace everything he did. I'm like, why not, just fucking get rid of him and save yourself the grief? I mean, like, the added benefit is you don't have to worry about him trying to fuck your girlfriend.
Invite one of them to record in your studio and discuss this. That would be fascinating.
Oh, yeah. You know what? I'd like to make this point to all the drummers who I featured in that video. My door is always open. If you guys want to come record in the studio, I will make time. I would love to get any one of you guys on here to discuss, the finer points of what's going on, what you guys are trying to attempt, some of the techniques involved, all that kind of stuff. But I think I'd make the video a little bit interesting. We call it the Real Drums Challenge. Let's see what you guys can do without computer enhancement. Let's see what you guys can actually do with a real acoustic kit and no net. That would be an interesting video. That's a video I would want to watch, as opposed to just watching all these guys jerking off about how many samples they can play.
I have to say, this sounds horrible. If you're going to play that fast, why not use a percussion ensemble? A bass drum player, a snare player, a cymbal player, a tom player, etc. Imagine syncopated drum beats rather than this straight nonsense.
Dude, I think that's a phenomenal idea. I would love to try something like that. Yeah, instead of, doing the extreme drumming challenge with just one drummer, like get an orchestral percussion section in. That'd be amazing, but I don't think that would ever happen, simply for the fact that you would have to pay those musicians, and we all know in the metal space, that is never gonna happen.
Did you vote for Godzilla or King Kong?
Oh, yes, this is post-election night. Yeah, all I gotta say about this is I am Canadian, so no, I did not vote in that election, but I just want to make my feelings clear on the matter. Here in Canada, we're gonna have a choice coming up real soon. I think we should be getting an election sometime in the next year anyway. Basically, it's gonna boil down to a choice between useless dumbass and dumbass who is useless. So to make my feelings extra special, super clear, I really don't give a fuck, but I would recommend that everybody who has the right to vote go exercise it. Can't go wrong with that.
Answer me one question, Glenn. I had an engineer tell me that if I sent him WAV files made from Reaper DAW for mastering, he needed to convert them to Pro Tools just to use them in Pro Tools DAW, and then there was going to be a lofty charge for that deterrent or punishment tax. I ultimately decided against working with this person, as there were too many red flags and horrible stuff in a background check. I did. This dude legit used to be one of the top engineers in the USA, was getting lied to and converting those files. I'm quite suspicious. Thanks.
I don't have a definitive answer here for you, because I just don't know what the circumstance was. Like, was he gonna have to convert your entire Reaper project over to something into Pro Tools? Because you should just be able to export the WAV files right out of Reaper, like, no problem. He can pop those up into Pro Tools, no problem whatsoever. I'm gonna actually blame the developers on this one. There's still no universal standard to go from DAW to DAW to DAW. Everybody's got their own brand of setup and file and whatnot. It's just like, can't we just export things into some kind of universal project? That would just make life so much easier. But once again, much like the metal orchestral section, I don't think it's ever going to happen. But if the guy has to take time and convert your Reaper session into Pro Tools so he can even work with it, yes, that is going to be a gigantic pain in the ass. So yeah, he's probably right in charging you to do that. So do keep that in mind. Better learn how to export your projects out of Reaper into straight up WAV files. That should be no problem at all. All right, okay, we're gonna wrap it up here. I got one more comment here. I just want to say thanks to everybody for watching and all that kind of stuff. And I'd like to give a great big shout out to the 600,000 or so of you guys out there who never bothered to hit the subscribe button in the last month. I'd very much appreciate it if you just hit that. I'm trying to get to 1 million, and I need your freaking help to make that freaking happen. Got lots of cool stuff coming up on the show, a bunch of tutorials, a bunch of really cool gear evaluations and stuff. I think you guys are gonna dig it. Once again, it costs you absolutely nothing to hit that freaking subscribe button, and honestly, it would mean the world to me. Before I sign off, though, I'm going to leave you with this because this is a couple of really great quotes.
If the rules get in the way, break them. You are a breath of fresh air, even if my daughter rolls her eyes as she walks by and hears your passion.
Well, Timothy, thank you so much for writing in, and I have a message for your daughter. Make sure she sees this or hears this. Honey, this is for you. Go to bed!
My wife does the same thing as your daughter.
Well, I Must Scream. Let me just put it this way. If I was married to your wife, I'd probably be named I Must Scream too. All right, everybody, how's it going? Hey, everybody, how's it? You're missing the point that Trump. What's happened? One more time. Well, that's about. Well, that about pretty much. If I was married to. Well, and that. We'll do that time.